How could the federal government improve on its response to COVID-19?
I'm not sure about that. I've been very appreciative of all the updates that the health people have given us. I've also been very grateful for the guidelines they've given us. I'm not sure what more they can do. We have to take the responsibility upon ourselves to follow. I feel they have worked very hard to keep us safe, and in Saskatchewan we've done well, and I'm grateful for that. So I don't have any complaints, and besides that, I think our Prime Minister is the best looking guy around. That really doesn't matter to you, but that's what I think.
I think they're doing a pretty good job. I think that all three parties probably should come together, or four parties should probably come together, deal with this as a national crisis rather than a political crisis. It's sort of upsetting when I see some of the parties try to use this for political gain, and I don't think this is the time for political gain. I think this is a time where we actually probably should have all four political parties come together, make a concerted effort, and get everybody in Canada to work together.
I don't know about the testing and everything else, but you hear about, the immediate testing out of the U.S. And so I think that that could be an answer for a lot of people and a lot of companies and so on.
I think the federal government has actually responded quite well to the pandemic. I mean, it happened so quickly, and you have a very limited amount of time and resources to deal with the seriousness of the issue. So I think people need to view the response also through that lens as well. But maybe moving forward, they can make sure that people who are receiving CERB payments are actually doing their best to pursue employment. But again, that's a lot easier said than done. So all in all, I think the federal government has responded appropriately.
I don't think it's any more that they can do. They've provided us with everything that we need to know, but there's just people that aren't listening and aren't taking it serious and aren't social distancing and doing that type of stuff.
You know what? I think they've done a pretty good job, the feds. I think they've done everything they can to sort of help the situation as it is right now. And I guess they're going to deal with everything as it comes, one day at a time. So I don't really see anything different as far as I can see at this point.
Find out who's suffering financially and find a way to help them out, and just have a way that somewhere down the road you can catch anybody who might be cheating.
I'd like to see the faster COVID tests out and more available to people, because it's stressful if you think you're sick and you don't know you're sick and what you should do, and I think we can be more responsible there by having faster tests more available to everybody.
I think they could have more of a long-term plan for what's going to happen after all of the aid stops coming to us Canadians. I don't feel like there's a clear plan for what's going to go on afterwards.
It's a good question. It's depending on how people are affected, different people have different answers. Because I'm salaried and it didn't impact my salary, there's not a whole lot I can comment on that. But I will say anything I can do for restaurants and small businesses. I mean, just being asked this question on Elgin Street, knowing what they went through with the construction and now COVID-19, I think anything they can do in that regard would be super helpful.
As a student, I think it'd be really important to help out a little bit more with like student loans and like grants and stuff, because I wasn't able to work during the summer, and that's how I get my income for school. And so having had a little bit more fundings and stuff for it, it would have helped out a lot, I think.
What I'm hearing, there are still people traveling in across borders and all that, a lot of movement. That's gotta get tighter, and and there, like I said, really this pandemic really is a tough one to kind of gauge. But us citizens, we have to do our part too, not just rely on the government to fix everything for us.
I think something like a federal mask mandate back in March or April would have been very helpful in stopping the spread of this disease.
I really don't have a magic solution. I think it's day to day. They have to deal with each crisis, and this is a worldwide crisis. It's not a Canadian problem. The problems they're having in Britain are the same as here. Not enough testing. The politicians kind of hijack any good news story and downplay anything that's negative, even though it's realistic, like the school problem right now. So I don't have the answers.
You know, it's an unprecedented situation, and when I compare the Canadian response to other countries, I thought it was excellent. I think we could have done a little better with people that were coming back into the country, ensuring that they self-isolated in a better way. I know of people that didn't do that. I think the initial response on some of the government programs was maybe not necessarily well targeted, but the way they did it with using existing programs was excellent, and they responded as government change, as input change.
For the most part, I'm very enthused about our response, especially compared to a lot of other countries. I will freely admit Justin Trudeau is not my ideal prime minister, but I respect the fact that he has gone out in front of a camera every day to say, this is how our country is doing, and this is how we plan to move forward. And as a leader, I have to say bravo to him. That was an amazing job of trying to provide leadership in a challenging time.